Well, I'm doing a follow-up on this 2000, I think I did this last year, August of 2019, where the Freon in it was low. Still had Freon in it, but it was low. Added some dye to it, and now it's about a year later almost. It's not working again. It's not coming on, and it's low, basically. So I'm going to go look for the dye, and of course my UV light died. I went to use it, doesn't work. But I have a sniffer, and this one was actually fairly easy to find why it was losing refrigerant. So I'm going to show you what I found, and we're going to have to evacuate the system and fix the leak and recharge it, and should fix the issue. But let me show you what I found. So we're on the passenger side. I kind of was just doing a visual inspection, looking down. It's kind of hard to show you up here, but I'll show you from underneath, at the connections into the condenser next in front of the radiator. And I could see on the bottom of that, it looked like it was stained and kind of wet, a little bit of oil, and a little bit of looked like dye to me. So we'll get down underneath here after I make you sick wobbling you all over the place. And what we're looking at is, let me see if I can show you this. There's the connection into the condenser, and if you can see the bottom of that, you can see the stain on it from the bottom connection. The top one's nice and dry, but the bottom one's definitely had a leak. So let me get my sniffer, and I'm betting that's gonna be our leak and why it's leaking. I couldn't find any other leaks. I kind of went over the system with the sniffer and didn't see any other leaks on this, didn't find any other leaks, nothing on the compressor like that. So I believe that's going to be the problem we have. Let me get my, I don't even know what you're looking at. Let me get my sniffer and turn my sniffer on. There you go. That's my leak right there. Well, the system's been evacuated. Now I'm going to reach in here. Hopefully you can see this right here. I hope you can. I'm going to undo this fitting and see if we can have a seal that'll fit it. If not, we'll have to get one. Thought I'd be able to get a socket on that, but I don't know about that. I'll just use a wrench. Which is fine. Just use a wrench. Okay. That's nice. Pulled the whole stud out. And here's my fitting. Alright, so now I'm going to go and see if I have a seal for this. And we'll place the seal, put it back together, pull a vacuum on it. So I just wanted to show you, hopefully you can see this, the green. I can't see on the camera, but hopefully you can see all the green around the outside here. That's the dye that was leaking out of this thing, and there's the O-rings. I did have the right size one compared to the old one. There's the old one. There's the new one, right size. So when I do these rings, I always use this lubricant, Nylog. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, blue. This is Nylog blue. Just a little bit on these, and I find that they seal better. It lubricates and they go on a lot easier. You don't have to worry about tearing them up or anything. Okay. Kind of sticky. Not really sticky. It's a lubricant, but it's thick. I just like to coat it. Put it back on there. So it's got a good coat on it. Doesn't take much, but I do find that it's a good idea. I don't want it to leak. Okay. Get that back lined up. Okay, it's in and tight. Now I'm going to spray this with brake clean just to clean it off, get the little bit of residue that's on there off of there. Now that it's tight, and we'll pull a vacuum, make sure it doesn't leak, and then we'll recharge it. I've got my high side hooked up here to the front. Low side on this, I had to take the wheel off and go in through pull the front cover and just loosen it up. Just one Torx head screw and a couple of push pins. That's where your low side connector is. They're both shut off to the charging line. I've got my charging line to my vacuum pump. I'm going to start the pump and open both sides and let it draw a vacuum down. You'll be able to see, I'll show you on the gauge here. And I'm probably going to let it run for 15 or 20 minutes at least. And pull it down. I want to pull it down to at least 27 inches of mercury. Hopefully a little better than that. And then close it back up and we'll let it sit. I'll probably let it sit for half an hour to an hour and see if there's any other leaks. Hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to open both sides here. Let it pull it down. Sure, I'm opening both sides. I'll show you this gauge now. Particularly on this one, you can see it's pulled down. That's 0, so it's pulling a vacuum on it. And we're going to let that pull down. It's at about 26 and a half right now. We're just going to leave that, let it run for a while, and then see if it holds. If it holds, then we'll recharge it. Pulled it down to about 29 inches of mercury. I've got it closed back off. Open to the system, but closed to the pump now. And we're just going to let it sit for a little bit here. See if it holds vacuum. No leaks. If it does, then we'll recharge it. Alright, so it's been sitting for over an hour and it has not moved off of 29 inches of mercury, so it's not leaking at all. I've got my Freon and my scale set up. I got to run 0.74 or 26.1 ounces into this. We're going to run it through the low side. I am going to turn the air conditioning on and set it to recirculate max AC. And watch my scale, and we're going to fill this thing up, get it working. You can see this. I don't know if the camera move you a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. You don't really need to see the scale. Zoom you in some. You're not really going to be able to see the gauges where it is, but at least you can see me what I'm talking about. Do it. Low side. .6 ounces right there. Just going to let it run a little bit, watch my pressure. It should be right on because it's got the right amount in it. I know it has the right amount in it. And we'll see what our temperature come out in the middle vent. I have a thermostat in the middle vent. And like I said before, it's on max AC. We circulate. We'll see what the temperature is on a 21-year-old car. The temperature is 45 degrees right now. So that's pretty good. For a 20-year-old car, 21-year-old car. Seems to be behaving. So I'm going to shut off my low side because that pressure is lower. And I'll shut the engine off and I'll let the static pressure come down and balance between the two sides before I disconnect the high side, because the high side will come down probably 75 pounds or so. That'll be around 100, something right there, maybe a little less than 100. It should be almost 1 psi for temperature. It's probably 85 in here, so I expect it somewhere right around there. These lines have a shut off down near the end. I'm just shutting that low side off inside the wheel well. And then we shut the engine off. We're almost down to 40 degrees, so that's really good. Keep an eye on it, but I don't expect it to leak since it held the vacuum for an hour, hour and a half without losing anything. Sometimes that'll fool you, but I don't really expect it to. So we'll let this sit. Like I said, balance the pressure out. The pressure's on the high side, it's down to about 120 right now. It'll continue to come down for a couple minutes here, and then I'll close it off and we'll disconnect it. We'll put our caps back on our Schrader valves, and that's pretty much it. Well, that's it for this 2000 Ford Focus air conditioner. Temperature's running 42, right? 42, 43. So it's, you know, right where I'd expect it to be. Keep an eye on it the next couple days. I don't really expect a leak unless it's somewhere else leaking that wasn't leaking before, but it held vacuum really well. If you have this issue with your car, I hope this helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.